Dreams aren't magic tricks, they are blueprints. This is the Thoughts Become Things podcast, where we open the doors to that blueprint and desire to break poverty. Join Moses B. Arthur, the dreamer, the doer, the guy who builds systems from scratch. We are talking business, personal growth, spirituality, the whole shebang. Forget stuffy suits and boring lectures. This is about real talk, actionable steps, and a healthy dose of love and light to fuel your fire. Remember, it shall never be well with poverty. So get ready to turn those what ifs into oh yeah. Let's go.
There's something extraordinary about a man who refuses to just coast through life. There's something magnetic about someone who shows up to do life every day with fire in his eyes and purpose in his bones. And we call that the Mamba Mentality. The Mamba Mentality was coined by the late Kobe Bryant. For those of you that do not know Kobe Bryant was a basketball player, an amazing person. May his soul rest in perfect peace. He, together with his daughter, died in a helicopter crash a couple of years ago. But the word Mamba Mentality was coined by Kobe Bryant. The Mamba Mentality for him was more than just a catchphrase. It was a philosophy. It was a code. And it was a way of life. For him, it's the mindset of someone who is obsessed, not just with applause, not just with popularity, but with progress, with mastery, and being the best version of themselves every single day. And Kobe Bryant lived it to the utmost full till that fateful day when he passed. Kobe was relentless. He was focused. He was ruthless with mediocrity. Whilst others were busily partying, he was training. Whilst others slept, he studied. Whilst others were satisfied, he stayed hungry. But here's the truth you need to know today. You don't have to be a basketball player to live the Mamba Mentality. And I settled this with me as a young man trying to do this thing called life a long time ago when I read Mamba Mentality by Kobe Bryant. You don't have to be a basketball player to live the Mamba Mentality. Take note that it is a mentality, because Mamba Mentality isn't just about being on the basketball court. It's about a code. And what is that code? It is the code that says that I may not be the most talented, but I will be the most prepared. I may not have the spotlight, but I will have the stamina. I will do today what others will always run away from, so that tomorrow I can do what others cannot do. At its core, if you think about it, the Mamba Mentality is about focus, it's about discipline, and it's about willpower. It's actually the idea that if a man dares to dream boldly, and he matches that dream with daily discipline, he can grow his passion into greatness and his name into legacy. Which is how come I always say that with relentless focus and an unshakable discipline and a positive obsession to be the best, anybody can rise into greatness. Anybody can rise into greatness. The reason being that potential is universal, but purpose is always unlocked through obsession. And obsession has got a very, very bad reputation. But let's clarify something. Obsession is only dangerous when it is misdirected. Every time people hear the word obsession, they actually think that it's something that is bad, it's something that is evil whatsoever. But then obsession is only dangerous, or obsession feels only dangerous when it is misdirected. When it is properly focused, obsession becomes the force that breaks the limits. It becomes the force that changes the status quo. Now, if you think about it, look at any great builder, look at any great athlete like Cristiano Ronaldo, my man. Look at any great innovator. Look at some of the world's best writers. Observe some of the world's best preachers. Observe some of the world's creators in terms of technology. Beneath their success is an obsession, a holy fire, a personal covenant that says that I refuse to live on cruise control. I will do everything that I have to do to become successful. And for me, if you've observed my life, that's something that I strive to and I strive towards on the daily. Because if you think about it very well, Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 to 27 writes, he says that Do you not know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? And then he says that run in such a way as to get the prize. Then he says, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. Now that's member mentality in its spiritual form. You run to win. You train like a champion. Most importantly, you master yourself. If you've heard me say this, I always say that the greatest test in life to master is yourself. There is a reason why at the peak of Abraham Maslow's theory of needs, we have self-actualization. And there's also the reason why when you go to school, the first thing you are learned to write, or the first essay you are taught to write, is myself. You are supposed to run to win, train like a champion, and master yourself. Now, the difference between average and an outstanding person in terms of talent, or the difference between somebody who is doing average and an outstanding person in terms of giftings, is just one thing, is intention. And if you think about it, Kobe didn't play hard on game days. He didn't. He just showed up every day. And that was his biggest secret. Because in life, what you do in private prepares you for what people see in public. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And Mamba mentality is about creating habits that reflect your future. It's about creating habits that when you sit down 20, 30 years from today, your future self will be proud of. It's not about your feelings. And so I want to ask you today, are you actually training for what you are praying for? Are you preparing yourself for the things you are praying for? A lot of you are going on Accra mountains. A lot of you are going on camp retreats. A lot of you are just, hoping for a certain future. But are you preparing for that which you are praying for? Are you building habits that prepare you for the dream you say you want? Are you living every day with the same fire you had as the vision was given to you? It's very important to think about these things, because you can't want greatness and live a life of convenience. I settled that with me a long time ago as a young person trying to do this thing called life, that you cannot want greatness and live like convenience. You cannot want impact and keep making excuses. That's not how you create impact in your world. You cannot want impact and not show up. It doesn't happen that way. You cannot want excellence and you keep entertaining distraction. You need a certain relentless focus if you want to be excellent. And so what does the Mamba mentality teach? What does the Mamba mentality says? It says that I will show up. It says that I will give my best. The Mamba mentality says I will block out the noise. It says that I will finish what I start. And that is how ordinary men become extraordinary men. That is how ordinary men become outstanding amongst the people who are trying to do things. Maybe you're listening to me today from whichever part of the world you are in and you feel stuck. Maybe you have got a dream but you do not have the discipline. Maybe you have got the passion but not the plan. I want to encourage you that you don't become the best overnight. My mentor Vusi says that if you see every overnight success, it takes at least 2 decades. And that's something to actually ponder over. You become the best over time. You never become the best overnight. You become the best over time by doing the small things with a certain deliberate, intentional level of consistency. And so, wake up earlier from today. Read deeper. Think clearer. Speak slower. Work harder, pray longer, reflect more, track your growth, master your weaknesses, build your stamina, do it again and again and again and again and again. You know why? Because one day, what you do in the dark will shine in the light. You will never regret being focused. You will never regret being disciplined. You will never regret betting on your dream and backing it with fire. So let me just say this to every dreamer who's listening in on the conversation. Let me just say this to every builder, every leader out there, every king and queen listening to me today, that if the dream is big, the discipline must be bigger. You're looking at the likes of Ronaldo, you're looking at the likes of Messi, and you see, the basic thing is that every master was once a disaster at what they were doing. Consistency and being intentional at it is what made the difference. And so if the dream is big, if the discipline If the dream is big, then the discipline must be bigger. If the vision is bold, then your preparation must be relentless. If the call on your life is great, then you have to understand that the obsession to become better must consume you every now and then. You want to live life with that fire. You want to move on that edge, and you want to be intentional to build with that obsession. Let the others be average and decide that you'll be excellent. Your friends can be average. Your family members can be average, but you do not write the history of your life, and you do not make your name as part of the greats in your day by being average. And so others can be average, but you be excellent. Others can choose to drift. But you decide. Others can wish, but decide that you will work. You not just do wishful thinking. Others can decide to watch. And you know the interesting thing for you? Do not just sit on the fence and watch. Go out there with an obsession to be the best, with relentless focus and an unshakable discipline, and win. If you are thinking about anything, I want you to know that this is your moment. This is your very time. This is the time to take that action to make the world a better place. This is the time to take that action to become a better version of yourself. This is the time to become the first in your family to have attempted to do anything that has never been done before. This is your moment. And people, this is the Mamba Mentality. Remain blessed and enjoy your day.
That is another episode down. Remember, dreams aren't wishes. They are seeds you have to plant, water, and nurture. Take today's golden nuggets of wisdom, sprinkle them with your hustle, and watch your garden of greatness bloom. Share your thoughts. Connect with MBA on all social media at The Moses Author. Don't forget to dream, dare, do, and remember, love and light are your superpowers. Until next time, go out there and turn those thoughts into things.